All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something huge, one of the biggest challenges we're facing today. And that's this growing gap between the skills we have and the skills our new AI-powered world actually needs. So I've got a question for you, and it's a big one. Is your career really ready for what's coming with AI? It might sound a little intense, but it's a question we all have to start asking ourselves. I mean, the world of work is changing at an incredible speed. Being prepared isn't just a nice to have anymore, it's essential. And at the very core of all this preparation is an idea called human capital. Now, what is human capital? Well, it's not just about that piece of paper you get from college, not at all. It's the whole package. It's your knowledge, yeah, but also your real-world skills, your experiences, basically everything that makes you valuable in the workplace. And here's the kicker. Right now, the way we've been building up that human capital is running into some serious trouble. And that trouble brings us to our first big topic here, what's being called the great skills mismatch. Sounds dramatic, but it's true. There's this massive disconnect, right, between what schools and universities are teaching and what companies out there in the real world are screaming for. And this, right here, this is the heart of the problem. We're seeing studies that show even in super advanced fields, like data science, students are graduating with heads full of theory, which is great, but they're missing the practical, hands-on, AI-ready skills that employers are desperate to find. It's like they're being prepped for two totally different realities. And look, don't think this is just a tech bubble problem. It's everywhere. The tourism industry, they're struggling to find people with basic IT skills. Healthcare, they need folks who are good at managing people. Agriculture is scrambling for expertise in what they call Industry 4.0. All that smart, connected tech that's changing how farms and factories work. Heck, even the construction industry is saying they need more people with good interpersonal skills. This gap is hitting every single sector.
Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking, all right, I get it. There's a gap. So what? Why does it matter? And that's a fair question. The thing is, the consequences, they're huge. They affect pretty much everyone. Let's dive into why this is such a critical issue.
Let me give you a really specific example, one that comes from the research. Picture a sugar factory. For decades, maybe generations, these places have been run by operators who know every single pipe, every valve, every sound that machinery makes. They know it inside and out. But here's the problem. That entire generation of experts, they're all starting to retire. And when they walk out that door for the last time, they're taking something with them that's, well, it's almost irreplaceable. We're talking about decades of institutional knowledge. This isn't stuff you can just read in a manual. It's that gut feeling, that intuition that tells you something's about to break, the little tweaks and tricks that keep the whole place from falling apart. That's what's being lost. So that leads to this massive, critical question. How on earth do you replace a lifetime of that kind of experience before it literally walks out the door? See, it's not just about filling a job opening. It's about preventing a catastrophic loss of expertise that could threaten the whole company. And believe me, this exact story is happening right now in industries all over the world. And this kicks off a really dangerous ripple effect. Think about it. You've got recent grads who can't find work. At the same time, you have companies that want to innovate, that want to use AI, but they can't because they can't find people with the right skills. So what happens? Those businesses get less competitive. We start seeing labor shortages, and our whole economy just becomes more fragile. It's a huge systemic issue. Okay, but it's not all bad news, not by a long shot, because the very thing that's causing all this disruption, technology, it might just be the key to fixing it. Let's take a look at how tech can actually help us build a bridge over this skills gap. This is where it gets really, really cool. Imagine an AI system that can essentially learn from those retiring experts. It captures all that institutional knowledge, all those little tricks, and then it can guide a totally new operator step by step, helping them make decisions as if they had 30 years of experience. It's literally like having the best mentor in the world, looking over your shoulder 24/7. And the numbers we're seeing, they are absolutely staggering. When companies get this right, when they actually adopt this kind of digital tech, they see labor productivity shoot up by an average of almost 30%. I mean, think about that. That is a massive jump in efficiency. But it's not just about getting more stuff done faster. For me, this next number is even more important. We're talking about a more than 42% improvement in safety on the job. So this isn't just about productivity. It's about making sure people go home safe at the end of the day. That's a huge win. And all of this really points to one crucial idea. There's this quote here that talks about a human-centric paradigm. And what that really means is that technology just for the sake of having cool tech is pointless. The whole goal of this next wave, what they call Industry 5.0, is to put people first. It's about using these incredible new tools to make humans better at their jobs, to empower them, not to replace them. So, if we're building a bridge and technology is one anchor point, what's on the other side? Well, it's us. It's people. It means we have to completely rethink how we approach education and how we build a culture inside our companies. So let's talk about how we actually rebuild that bridge from the human side. It really comes down to a three-part strategy. First, we've got to fix our education systems so they're actually teaching what companies need. Second, we all have to get on board with this idea of lifelong learning. The learning doesn't just stop when you get your diploma. And third, the companies themselves have to change. They need to build a culture that's ready for digital, one that actually encourages people to adapt and grow. The good news is, this is already starting to happen. We're moving away from just the old, rigid 4-year degree. We're seeing more flexible options pop up. You've got companies working directly with universities to design courses. You've got things like micro-credentials that let you prove you have a very specific, valuable skill. The whole system is slowly but surely becoming way more agile and plugged into what the real world actually needs. Okay, so let's bring this all back to you. What does this mean for your career? What does it actually take to be future ready in this new world? The answer might not be what you think. We're seeing a really fundamental shift. In the past, it was all about what you knew. Your value was tied to your specific degree or your technical skills. But tomorrow, it's all about how you work. The skills that are becoming priceless are the uniquely human ones. Being adaptable, being a good leader, being innovative, working well with others. Why? Because as AI starts to handle more of the routine stuff, our human skills, well, they become our superpower. In fact, when you look at what the job market is demanding right now, for the next few years, there's a really clear list of what they're calling power skills. And notice, it's not a list of programming languages. It's emotional intelligence. It's being resilient when things get stressful. It's flexibility and, that word again, adaptability. These are the things that are really going to define who succeeds in the years to come. So that brings us full circle, right back to a question. This skills gap we've been talking about, it's very real. But it's not impossible to solve. We can absolutely bridge it. It's going to take that human-first technology on one side and a real commitment from all of us to just keep learning, always, because the future really does belong to the people who never stop adapting. So the only real question left for you is, what are you going to learn next?